Hello and welcome back to another week of us recreating vintage lunches from the 1920s. Now, normally it is lunchtime. I introduce it as recreating these lunches because it's salads and sandwiches. They are more considered lunch foods, at least in my opinion. But as you can tell out that window and on the stove clock, it is not lunchtime. The day got away from me a little bit and we are now recreating these lunches at dinner time, maybe even a little bit after dinner time. This week we are making a ham and egg sandwich along with a snap bean and potato salad. Now, I've already boiled the eggs for that salad. We're gonna go ahead and peel those right now while the potatoes are still boiling and cooking. I know that boiling an egg is pretty simple and you just kind of have to put it in the water, boil it, leave it there for a certain amount of time, and then you just bring it out and put it into ice water to stop the cooking process. But if we're being totally honest, what happens with me is I have intentions to do that. I put it in the water and I turn the water on, let it come up to a boil, and I think, okay, I'm gonna just go do this other thing really quick instead of standing and watching it, because as you know, a watch pot never boils. I go ahead and do that, and then I forget about the eggs. I get distracted, I move on, I start doing something else, and then I remember that I have eggs, and I go ahead and turn them off and leave them on for a little while, and then they're probably overcooked. Or I go do something, I don't know how much time has passed, I think it's been a long time, and that I've overcooked the eggs, so I turn them off and put them in the cold water, and then when I take them out, they haven't quite boiled enough. I haven't quite mastered actually doing it correctly yet. And at this point, I've been on this planet almost 40 years. I know there are some things I need to improve upon and change, but if you've been here before, you know my kitchen is a little bit like my brain, and it's kind of a scattered mess, which is my cooking style. It doesn't always work well with these vintage recipes, but sometimes it makes for some fun and comical situations that occur. Speaking of fun and comical situations that occur, this is the point at which I somehow started filming in slow motion. I was able to bring the speed back up to normal, however, I could not recover the audio, so we're going to be doing a voiceover for some of these parts here. If you want to see the reaction that I have as I realize I'm filming in slow motion, go ahead and watch till the end. I'll include it in the end there. Now, with this recipe, I'm not really sure how much egg compared to how much ham we're supposed to use. It doesn't really say that it's like a 1-to-1 or what ratio we're supposed to use. So we're just gonna kind of go in here, and I think the best way to combine it is just to kind of mash it up together, and that'll break down the ham a little bit and get it even more fine than what we chopped it, and it'll combine the eggs pretty well there. You can see it looks pretty well combined there, I think. Now, the other thing that it called for was mustard onion, and I looked up mustard onion on the internet and I couldn't find a recipe. I found things that were like a mustard sauce with onions in it, or maybe a pickled onion, something like that with mustard, but I couldn't find an actual mustard onion. So I was able to find these Aunt Nellie's onions, and I think they were like a New England style or Holland style, some type of like little onion. And I figured that was kind of the best case scenario to use here. I'm going to try it with these and then maybe add a little bit of dry mustard in there as well. Hopefully it'll turn out well. If not, maybe anybody out there, do you know what a mustard onion is? Can you help me out? If you know somewhere to pick them up, please let us know. They're pretty small. They're kind of cute looking. We'll get them chopped up and added in there. I don't know how many we're supposed to put in because it does say a small, but you know, based on how small that is, I'm not really sure. We'll do 2 at first. They're also very slippery, so cutting these up was a little bit difficult. I was very nervous about the knife slipping and sliding and slicing my finger off. So you can see I kind of just the top there, I kind of gave up on slicing it because it just kept pulling out from the bottom layers. We'll get this nice and finely chopped and minced up, and we'll go ahead and add it in there. Also gonna go ahead and try these. They smell really good. And actually they ended up tasting really good. I tried it out and I think I ended up maybe having one more after this. Next up is cooking the potatoes and the green beans, getting those boiled. Obviously the potatoes take a good bit longer. After they cooked and came up to temperature and were thoroughly done, I just poked the potatoes, made sure that they were done all the way through. And then with the potatoes, I just drained them. With the green beans, once they were done, I drained them and then I also put them into ice water so that they would stop cooking, kind of like a longer blanch there. The onions were supposed to cut them about an inch apart, and I know where on my pinky is an inch, so, or into inch pieces. So I'm kind of just measuring that with my pinky, which is the way I would say, do not attempt this at home. This is exactly what you should not ever do. If there are any children watching, do not take my advice on this. This is the opposite of knife safety. I really should have just measured it some other way. But here is the best part of the video. I'm supposed to do a cup. Look at that. It is 1 cup, almost exactly. I just pulled out however many green beans I thought I was supposed to have, and it was a cup. So that's pretty much the best part of my whole night. We got them in there, and now we're gonna work on getting the potatoes chopped up. We're gonna pull out 2. Let's see, maybe I can get the exact amount correct. I don't know. I might just be that one lucky part of the green beans might have been it, but we might get it with the potatoes too. Now, I know it said to cube these potatoes, but we're not gonna exactly cube them because I don't know, it would be a little difficult to get them into cube shape. So we're just gonna cut each slice in quarters. It'll be more like maybe a little triangle here. It'll be a little round on the edge. You can kind of see it. It's close enough to a cube to me. I don't think it's gonna change the flavor or the effect of this salad too much to do it that way. I thought I was gonna be so spot on with this, but we ended up only really needing about 1.5 potatoes. We didn't really need the full 2 potatoes, but that was close enough to a 1/2 cup. And I didn't measure exactly. We got close enough to a 1/2 cup to be good on my end. Now for the gherkins. I love pickles. I love sweet things, but there is just something about a sweet pickle. I cannot stand it. If you have sweet pickles in something, it kind of ruins it for me. I always forget about sweet pickles. When someone asks me what foods I don't like, the only one I really can think of is cilantro. I've got the soap gene, but then someone puts a sweet pickle in something and I remember I abhor sweet pickles. Either way, the recipe calls for it. We're gonna try it. Who knows? Maybe I'll like it. So we're just gonna get it kind of finely chopped up here, diced, and then added into the salad. Don't worry, right after this is when I realize that I have lost all of the audio, and we take over and the audio comes back to normal now, guys. With the onion, we need to grate onion sufficient to make a teaspoon or a tablespoon. I'll go back and look in a second, but I am concerned that grating this onion, I'm just going to start crying and it's going to be all over the place and terrible, but we shall find out. I probably should have frozen it first, and that may have been helpful. What if I just close my eyes? Okay, this is probably enough. I hope that's enough. I don't want to keep grating this. It's not so bad yet. I also don't want to say that it's not so bad yet because I'm going to say it and then it's going to hit me. Is that enough for a tablespoon? Come on, be enough, be enough. It is not quite enough. I need a little bit more here. It's not too bad yet, but it is starting to get me. I don't want to close my eyes too much either because I don't want to chop or grate my fingers off when I'm not watching. All right, that's got to be good enough. Yeah, there we go. There it is. Now we're going to mix this gently so as to not mash these potatoes. Let's just kind of break up that onion a little bit. There we go. I don't know, I think that looks mixed up enough-ish. I guess the potatoes are kind of staying together in there. Yeah, there we go, that's good enough. Here's another one, just like last week, where we are to put it on a salad plate and then cover it with sliced tomatoes and mayonnaise. So there's no lettuce in this salad either. I think a minute ago I said cover with tomatoes, but it says surround, not cover. So just kind of go around the plate with these lovely tomatoes. Cover with a little mayonnaise. We are going to use our boiled dressing from last week as well. Waste not, want not. And there we are. It's pretty colorful and pretty. For our sandwich, we have the Trader Joe's white bread again. I don't know if I mentioned last week whether I liked it or not, or how I think it's pretty darn good for a gluten-free alternative. I am buttering both sides, and I'm putting a decent amount of butter on both sides just because, I don't know, this looks pretty dry to me. Now, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think let me double check, because sometimes I am over here talking about how they forgot to put something in, or they left something out, something wasn't included, and then we all look back at the recipe and it's right there. I just didn't read it, so let me double check and make sure. It does not mention any binder to keep this moist and together. So what do you think? Do you think they forgot to add it in? Do you guys recognize this? Do you eat this, or did your parents eat this without any mayo, Miracle Whip, boiled dressing, mustard, something to break it up in there? Or not break it up, hold it together. It's just kind of crumbling all over the place here. Oh, and it's just falling out. Away. There you go. What do you think? I don't know. I have to say I am not too confident about all this. And based on all of the, adding to that, all of the trouble we've had so far in filming, I don't know, guys. It is not our night. Maybe we'll get a pleasant surprise with the way the food turns out. The plate is even a mess. Maybe it would, if you sent it to work or to school with someone, maybe it would like congeal, and not congeal, just like press together while it was in there. I don't know. Let's go with the salad first. Oh man. I do smell the tomato, but I also really smell that gherkin pickle, and it's gonna be good. There have been so many things that we've tried and I thought I was gonna hate, and I really liked it, so this is gonna be another one of those things. I'm gonna try to get a bite without the gherkin first. Just the mayo, the potatoes, the onion, and the beans. Actually, that's not too bad. Without the gherkin in there, it doesn't taste too terrible. Maybe I will be pleasantly surprised and I'll enjoy the sweetness of the gherkin. Maybe it'll be a nice addition. Let's just try it. We're gonna go in positive, right? Nope. It is something about that sweet pickle. I don't know what it is, but if you like sweet pickles, if you're like a relish kind of person or anything like that, I bet you will like this. If you're a potato person also and you like those sweet pickles, this will be for you. Let's try it with the tomato. Maybe I have to have a tomato bite. When I put the whole tomato in my mouth, the tomato flavor overpowers everything else and I don't taste the gherkin, so that is helpful. But those of you that like gherkins, but you hate the beets, you hate the sweet potatoes, you hate those things that I love, we'll trade. I'll give you my gherkins, you give me all of those veggies that you hate. If that was a dill pickle or something else that had a little bit of a sweet element that wasn't a sweet pickle, I think I would love that. Even with that boiled dressing isn't bad on top of there. This smells really nice. I smell the ham a lot more than the egg or, ooh, did you see that? The pieces are just falling out. It does smell really good. I love egg salad. I love onions. I am finding now, I used to think that I hated ham as a younger person, but as I get older, I have come to appreciate ham a lot more. All right, cheers, guys. It's a lot more moist than I expected. I was expecting to kind of have to, whoops, falling apart there. I was expecting to have to choke this down and maybe need some water to drink it. I was expecting trouble swallowing because it would be just a little bit too dry, but it is not at all. It is having trouble staying in the sandwich and being very messy, but really, it really doesn't need the mayo or Miracle Whip or mustard, you know, all those binding agents in there, you know, whatever you would put in there to mix it with. It really doesn't need it. Now, for myself, I could probably use like 4 or 5 times the amount of onion that we put in there because I did like those onions. And I think it would really kind of punch the flavor up in here. So I think we could use maybe double the amount of onions. But while I didn't love the salad, this ham and egg sandwich is pretty great. I also think this is probably the most amount of protein that we have seen in these meals between the sandwiches and the salads so far in any of the weeks. A lot of it is very low in protein, I've noticed. Now, some of these options have more protein. I just haven't chosen them. Like there have been options with fish and things like that that we haven't tried yet. I think we might get into maybe some shrimp or something, shrimp sandwiches, shrimp salads, something like that soon. If through all of that you still like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss another week of lunches or dinners. Haven't quite decided what I want to make next week yet, so join us next week and we will all be surprised together. Good night, guys.